everybody, and what is up? Welcome back to another video. Today, I will be reacting to the top 20 franchises that Gen Z grew up watching. As always, remember to like, subscribe, and comment a franchise you grew up with. For me, I had two franchises I grew up with. The Monster High franchise. I actually have two dolls with me. Well, the same doll from two different generations. Cleo Denial. And the Strawberry Shortcake franchise, hence my shirt. But without further ado, let's get started.
Welcome to Ms. Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 franchises Gen Z grew up watching.
That's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Not bad. Let's do it.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most popular TV shows and movie franchises those of us born in the mid to late 90s and early 2000s grew up watching and adoring. If you could only watch one franchise for the rest of your life, which would it be? Let us know in the comments. Number 20, Cars franchise.
The Cars franchise? Well, Pixar is like the bread and butter of Gen Z, but I wasn't exactly a big fan of the Cars franchise.
Pixar has had tons of
I
hit
do wish
franchises over the
they
years,
talked about
so
another
it's
franchise
difficult
at
to
number
narrow
20
them
from
down.
Pixar,
Still,
but
the phenomenon that is
they do talk
Cars
about another
Cars
Pixar
is
franchise that they'll get to eventually.
animated movies about
Maybe that
cars,
more
some
of my viewers will get
targeted
to.
towards a specific age range of boys. Pixar managed to draw in
Yep.
a ton of different audience demographics.
This one that blows by?
I don't know. Why don't we just take a drive?
Nah.
Turns out there's a lot to be intrigued by in a world where vehicles can talk, and everyone fell in love with the world of racing for a bit.
Do they get car insurance or life insurance?
Characters in pop culture to this day.
Tried something new. I like it. Wow. Subtle.
Figured if I'm gonna be your crew chief, I better do it in style.
Number 19, Avatar: The Last Airbender franchise.
Whoa, that goes way far back.
Properties to love, but where
I did have various franchises from Nickelodeon defy my childhood, but
is fondly remembered by the succeeding
not that
generation.
one.
Egg, stop! We're not allowed to go near it. The ship could be booby-trapped. If you want to be a bender, you have to let go of fear.
It was one of the first cartoons to be serialized and to deal with heavier subject matter in a way that was digestible for kids. It knew we could handle the heavier stuff, and there's a reason it's still so frequently rewatched by many today.
You see, you are too late. The comet is already here, and I'm unstoppable!
While the subsequent The Legend of Korra didn't find quite as much success as its predecessor, we were still happy to be immersed in the ATLA universe again just 4 years after the initial show's end. Number 18, Scooby-Doo franchise. Scooby-Doo
Whoa, that goes back way before Gen Z.
Our generation, along with millennials, were
I think that defied way more
For one, the live-action
generations'
Scooby-Doo
childhoods
premiered in 2006
besides Gen Z's.
and were often replayed on TV after that.
Comment below if you have any nostalgia for it.
Another, we saw tons of fantastic cartoon iterations, including What's New Scooby-Doo, which aired from 2002 to 2006, and Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, which was on Cartoon Network from 2010 to 2013. The Mystery Gang is pretty timeless, and it's almost a requirement that you grow up watching some of their adventures if you're going to be an honorary pop culture fan later on.
There's no way a human physique could wind its way through all those tripwires.
Ta-da!
Way to go, Scoob! But how'd you know to go over there?
That's no food.
Number 17, Twilight franchise.
Twilight
There were
franchise?
seven movies that had an entire generation fighting over vampires.
I
and
doubt any
werewolves.
kid would have grown up with that.
Or more accurately,
I didn't,
Robert
but
Pattinson
that's
versus
probably
Batman.
because I found
Misunderstand him.
that kind of
Don't worry
stuff
about it.
scary as a kid.
Did you lie to get her out of town too?
Just leave.
While we were probably too young to be reading the books, at the time that the first movie premiered,
We certainly were.
begging our parents to let us go see it. A saga that
Wow.
spawned an
We
entire
should-
generation
at a
of
young
fans
age,
and werewolf
people were
fans.
begging their
We had nothing
parents
say for it
to
except
see the
for a whole lot of
movies.
memes. Twilight was such a phenomenon. You couldn't go anywhere in elementary or middle school without overhearing talk of imprinting on babies. We can only imagine how that sounded to outside ears.
You imprinted on my daughter?
It wasn't my choice.
She's a baby!
It's not like that.
Number 16, Teletubbies.
Teletubbies. I did grow up with Teletubbies, but I can't really say I can look at it the same way as my age as I looked at it as a kid. Thank goodness they didn't include Caillou. I liked that show then, but now, no, we do not talk about that show.
Which is why you might remember watching Teletubbies a little bit after 2001. This show was a whole fever dream. We struggled to make
It
sense
certainly
of it
was.
today, but all we know is 4-year-old us couldn't get enough. Between Tinky
That's
Winky,
right.
Dipsy, Lala, and Poe, the baby son, and the anthropomorphic vacuum cleaner,
None of it makes sense.
think. Number 15, Shrek franchise. From
Aww.
the bits of adult humor to the iconic
Now this is one we can look at the same way as kids and adults. Now, when it came time for movie day in elementary school, this is what everybody watched. At least one movie in the Shrek universe. I think there's going to be a 5th one. Comment below if you're looking forward to it.
Fairy tale characters and tired storylines flipped on their head. The writing in every movie is unbelievably witty, and even though we weren't yet seasoned enough to judge, we knew good when we saw it. Plus, those banger soundtracks don't hurt either. If they rolled out the TV cart to your class on a rainy day,
Yep.
chances are you were having a vote between Shrek or Kung Fu Panda. Truly a decision no child should have to make.
Him? He's a panda. You're a panda. What are you gonna do, big guy? Sit on me?
Number 14, Pokemon franchise.
Whoa. Pokemon Go took the world by storm in 2016, but I'm sure you guys know that. Comment below if you guys play Pokemon Go or what your favorite Pokemon game is.
Being the very best.
I'll be the very best. No one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause.
Back when I was in 4th grade, everyone brought Pokemon Go cards to school, and there was a ban, and we all got mad for it.
Future generations will also get the opportunity to have Ash and Pikachu around in their childhood. We choose you, Pokemon. Number 13, Spider-Man franchise.
Whatever life holds.
Wow! They're including that too.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Like Scooby-Doo, lots of generations grew up with Spider-Man. He's probably the most famous superhero of all, next to Batman and Superman. Our parents and older siblings grew up with the cartoons and
They
comics,
did.
but we were the generation who got to see a live-action Peter Parker hit the big screens for the
My
first
dad's a
time.
big
Well,
MCU
okay,
fan,
our parents
and
and siblings got to see it too. But we were the ones growing up associating
Spider-Man is
Spider-Man
one of the
with
most
superheroes.
popular
The
Marvel
trilogy aired from 2002
characters,
to
and
2007,
well,
which was prime time
I think the most
for
well-known
most
Spider-Man
celebrities.
is
If you're born
Tom
a bit later
Holland.
into Gen Z, then you probably consider Andrew Garfield your Spider-Man. Those movies were a lot of fun too.
Just let me go. Is that a knife? Is that a real knife? Yes, it's a real knife. My weakness, it's small knives. Just let me go. Anything but knives! Oh, it's so simple.
Number Number 12, Star Wars franchise.
ooh, Star Wars.
Many of us were introduced to this franchise by our parents or older relatives. You may not have been around to see the OG movies in theaters, but we certainly watched them at home over and over and over.
I don't have any Star Wars nostalgia, but everyone remembers this line from pop culture. I am your father!
Look on you with my own eyes.
By the time Disney acquired the property, we were pretty much all caught up and eagerly waiting for the sequel trilogy with our butts in cinema seats and a large popcorn in our laps. This is one of those franchises that unites several generations across the board in a way that few others manage to do.
This might be off topic, but that's similar to why my mom wanted me to be into Strawberry Shortcake. She grew up with the 80s version, which is what's on my shirt. She actually got this for me for Christmas. But she's the one who gave me all the DVDs from the 2000s and introduced me to the show in the 2010s. The two I grew up with.
Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
Ooh, Pirates of the Caribbean! Now, I'm sure this is one that we all remember, but I don't know if you guys remember this band, but this is Bring Me the Horizon. I have one of their CDs with me, but this is more of what my parents like. They got me through the pandemic, and they're named after a line from one of the movies. It's called Now Bring Me That Horizon. And that really proves how much nostalgia there are for some people. I mean, I don't have any, but when I think of that, I think of the band.
First theatrical release in 2003. From then on,
And the band first formed in 2004.
Captain Jack Sparrow board his ship and grace our screens. Johnny Depp gives himself fully to the role, and it made us wholly believe in his world and his character. With 3 movies spanning the aughts and 2 more following, Pirates of the Caribbean has been with us from our waddling stage right up until the end of our teen years.
I have a rendezvous beyond my beloved horizon.
Number 10, Winnie the Pooh franchise.
I think you just said it, but they're talking about the Winnie the Pooh franchise, another one that had a big impact on my childhood. Well, this is the main one that had a big impact on my childhood. The first one that I have a ton of nostalgia for. My main 2 favorites were Piglet's Big Movie and Pooh's Heffalump Movie. Every time my mom went to the library, I always asked for Piglet's Big Movie. I used to have Pooh's Heffalump Movie, but who needs DVDs on Disney? Who needs Disney DVDs when you have Disney Plus?
When there is no honey, the Pooh takes the tummy wherever the honey will be. My friends are out there with honey to spare, and they will take care of my tummy.
Here's another franchise that has spanned generations and made it all the way to ours. There's something so gentle and comforting about the characters and their storylines. Maybe it's the cartoonish voices reminiscent of a time we weren't yet around for, or the soft color palette of the cozy woodland home, or, probably most accurate, the compassionate and uplifting wisdom these characters have to offer.
I liked the quotes from all of them. In Piglet's Big Movie, I laughed hysterically every time Piglet said, "Blah! Don't eat me!" Well, when I watch it as an adult now, I think it's funny when they think they're in the North Pole, even though they're not. In Pooh's Heffalump Movie, I remember this was actually a thing when I was little. I repeated lines from cartoons, most notably the 2000s versions of Strawberry Shortcake. But anyway, in Pooh's Heffalump Movie, when Rabbit said, "one at a time," I said it the same way he did it. 1 at a time!
Silly old bear. You're braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think.
Winnie the Pooh, regardless of precisely the shows or series of movies you grew up with, always feels like a warm hug. It probably helps that Pooh, Tigger, Eeyore, and Piglet and company all look like super cuddly stuffed animals. Number 9, Dora the Explorer franchise.
This one I was a huge fan of. I actually have some pictures of me with Dora merchandise and some. This one was my favorite bedtime story. And here's a picture of me in that Dora gear. There's a Dora table in the background. There's Dora everything in this picture. And here's a picture of me with Dora bed sheets. I even had Dora underwear. Yup, I was that big of a Dora fanatic.
If you're not humming the theme song right now, you can go ahead and click off this video. Still, there's something so nostalgic about seeing the original animation of Dora the Explorer.
There is.
With a cast of absolutely iconic characters, this felt like children's media at its best. A monkey wearing boots, a backpack that comes to life, and the kind of incessant fourth wall breaking that would eventually prepare us for the likes of Deadpool. Plus, this queen taught our 5-year-old selves all the Spanish we knew.
In English, we say, kick the ball.
Maybe she's trying to increase the Mexican tourist industry.
In 2019,
I almost want to go to Cancun right now because of that show.
Add us next time, Paramount.
Can you say delicioso? Say delicioso.
Yeah, why isn't Dora in the Lost City of Gold on Paramount Plus? You guys tell me.
She'll grow out of it.
Number 8, SpongeBob SquarePants.
SpongeBob
Out of
SquarePants!
shows like Dora the Explorer, which were geared toward younger audiences.
Another one I grew up with.
Kept up with ours, even as we got old.
And I have more merchandise from the show. Here's a picture. Here is a SpongeBob plush toy I have with me. Well, I didn't get into SpongeBob until my middle school years. That's when I transitioned over from Nick Jr. to regular Nick. But I got it at Five Below one time. When I was in my local mall. And I spent all my money at Tilt. But this is my SpongeBob nostalgia. In fact, I still watch SpongeBob to this day.
How are you two making those noises?
Well, that's easy. All you need is a box.
And imagination.
Miraculously, the franchise is still going strong, with 4 additional films announced in 2022.
There's gonna be a 4th movie! Wow, I can't wait for it!
SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, Squidward, and Krabs with the generation under us. And we're all for it if it means the answer to the question, who lives in a pineapple under the sea, won't soon be forgotten.
Hear you! Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
I'm Sarah Esrich. I'm the Life Enrichment Director at Independence Village. Our goal with TikTok was to enrich the lives of our residents.
I mean, we're the ones that are being entertained. Time goes fast when you're having fun.
Dawn Power Wash has 3 cleaning boosters not found in traditional dish soaps. It's more than soap. It's Power Wash.
Number 7, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I like how they included Spider-Man and the MCU in separate canons. I mean, Spider-Man is in the MCU,
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing it could be.
Let us take you back to a simpler time. You spent your childhood reading.
Wow, and this was before Disney bought Marvel.
Ready to watch it
Well,
all unfold on
I'm a
screen.
big fan of Disney, and I
By the
think
time
Disney
you're
bought
ready to
Marvel in
Iron
09.
Man might just be the coolest superhero ever, thanks to RDJ.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
And then you keep going back to the theaters to watch all your favorite heroes get their screen time, until finally, the ambition that was the first Avengers totally blows your mind. There really was nothing like seeing the Avengers assemble for the first time. Even back then, we knew we were witnessing something special. If those opening credits still manage to give you goosebumps all these years later, you're not alone. Number 6, Sesame Street franchise.
Wow, one everybody grew up with. My parents used to watch it. And then I watched it. And then my little brother, he's 12 years old, he used to watch it. Wow, this is This has got to be the biggest franchise that they talk about ever. If you guys have parents who watch Sesame Street, or you who grew up Sesame Street, or younger siblings who watch it, comment below. I actually have a piece of Sesame Street merchandise that still survived. My grandparents gave this to me for Christmas one year. And then when I stopped watching it, I passed it on to my brother when he watched it. I can't wait to hear what they have to say about this.
Sesame Street might just be the most popular children's TV show of all time. At the very least, it's certainly one of the longest running.
Oh, the cheese! I gotta check and see if the cheese is ready. Oh, cheese!
You need not worry. As long as Sam the Eagle is here, I shall protect you in the name of decent family entertainment.
There are few rosters of kids' characters all as equally iconic as the Sesame Street's Muppets. From Bert and Ernie, to Elmo, to the Cookie Monster, to Big Bird, to Oscar the Grouch, to Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy. The list of fan favorites is practically endless. With a slew of memorable musical numbers, adaptations, and guest appearances, the Sesame Street franchise has cemented itself in the media world far beyond just kids' programming.
Comment below if I should do any Sesame Street videos. Well, I'm not gonna sing any songs because I don't sing kid songs on this channel. Like, maybe react to Sesame Street videos. Comment below if I should do that.
Number 5, Toy Story franchise.
Another one that's getting me going. And it's the Pixar one I have more nostalgia for. In the days before Disney Plus, I would run to my TV every time one of the movies came on. I wasn't alive for the first two, but I saw the third one in theaters. I even have merchandise from one of the movies with me. Well, it's from all the movies, but here is Slinky. Another toy I got for Christmas one year.
Pixar did a fine job of shaping our childhoods, and probably in no grander way than with the Toy Story lineup. Every kid dreams of their toys coming to life, and the premise was
They
not
sure
only
do.
really solid on its own, but also
I always thought the characters could see me when I watched TV as a kid.
What could Andy
So,
possibly get?
another weird thing we all believed.
We grew to care so deeply for Woody, Buzz, and the gang over the years that by the time Toy Story 4 came out, we were mostly adults there in the crowd, bouncing in our seats with the same glow in our eyes we watched the first installment with. These movies always treated their
They're not wrong.
with grace and esteem. The real-life hardships like growing up and saying goodbye were never sugar-coated. The only constant in life is change, and Toy Story made the bittersweetness of it manageable.
Not anymore. To infinity and beyond.
Number 4, Barbie franchise.
We went from Toy Story to Barbie. I actually have all the Barbie DVDs I grew up watching with me for this video. I went from Swan Lake to Pearl Princess. Although my two favorites were Mariposa and Princess Charm School.
You rescued us from his dungeon, your bravery led to his defeat, and your kiss has broken his spell. You are the Sugar Plum Princess.
Barbie Media might have had a leg up given that its toy brand was already monumentally popular, but it's definitely earned its spot on our list. Did you even grow up in the early 2000s if you weren't constantly rewatching Barbie classics? We're talking Barbie in the Nutcracker, Barbie of Swan Lake, Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper, Barbie Fairytopia, and Barbie and the Magic of Pegasus, and that's barely scratching the surface.
Will you keep this safe, Your Highness? I would be honored. It will be the first star you see each night.
The utter magic in these movies always made us feel like we could be anything too, just like Barbie. The idea of combining our favorite doll with princess narratives, we were practically bouncing off the walls, man.
A diaper this week free sets them free. Only Pampers Cruisers 360 have a 360.
Number 3, Harry Potter franchise.
Ooh, Harry Potter.
The most difficult to produce.
I wasn't a big Harry Potter fan growing up, but my mom was. I actually have some of the books with me. Well, most of these I wasn't alive for. I was alive for some of the movies. But that was it.
But shield forms can also be equally useful against a variety of opponents. Fantastic, Jenny.
Ah yes, the franchise millennials love to gatekeep. We're just kidding, sort of. Admittedly, Harry Potter was theirs first, seeing as the first book was released in 1997, and many of us were still in diapers at the time.
I wasn't alive then.
From 2001 to 2011, and by then, Gen Z was cognizant enough to appreciate the feats of being a wizard, and the utter disappointment of being a muggle.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wizard. And a thumping good, I'd wager. Once you trade up a little.
To this day, you'll often hear the age-old question, what Hogwarts house are you in casual conversation, and it's always nice to hear that the fandom is still alive and thriving. This franchise is a hallmark of so many childhoods, and one that stamped itself into pop culture for what will, at this point, presumably be all eternity.
We can make that crowd level. That's a promise.
Number 2, Mickey Mouse and Friends franchise.
Wow.
It's
Well,
probably the number one company
Disney had a
responsible for
huge
franchise.
impact on my
Although we would love
childhood.
to include all the Disney Channel media, there are just too many to name, so we're sticking with the classics. They really are the heart of Disney. Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Goofy, and Pluto are as iconic as they come.
I wish Disney didn't lose the copyright. And now they're making a horror movie out of them. As soon as Disney loses copyright of a character, they make a horror movie out of them.
Hollywood's golden age, both in appearance and personality, but the essence of their characters still feels true enough to their beginnings. Who among our generation isn't familiar with a Goofy movie, the Christmas anthology films, the Three Musketeers, and of course Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and its
That's the one I grew up with.
theme song.
It's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Come inside, it's right inside. It's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Blue's Clues franchise.
Wow.
Blues Clues,
Another one I grew up with. I got this plush blue when I used to watch this. When I used to watch the show.
We just figured out Blue's Clues. We just figured out Blue's Clues. Because we're really smart.
The Powerpuff Girls franchise. The phrase sugar, spice, and everything nice is permanently imprinted in our brains.
Once again, the day is saved. Thanks to the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, I just love these stories where you laugh and learn.
My Little Pony franchise.
Wow, the My Little Pony franchise. I have some of the My Little Pony DVDs I grew up with too. And I used to watch Friendship is Magic as well. These are all the ones I used to watch. And this one, the live show, I actually had a chance to go to it. And here's a book from Friendship is Magic.
Generation 3 began began in 2003 with revamped toys and a lineup of direct-to-video movies.
And knowing you shared something you all love makes it a very, very special charm bracelet. I will cherish it and your friendship forever.
High School Musical franchise. Some of us
Wow.
quote every lyric. Ice Age franchise. This scene still lives in.
You guys are probably singing, but they're talking about the Ice Age franchise.
In our heads rent-free. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe.
I'm glad
to our
Scrap
channel
finally got the
and
acorn.
get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Disney Princess franchise.
Well,
While there
what
are
else could
Disney
it be?
franchises we love that aren't considered Disney princess movies, like The Lion King, there are once again
I have one of my Disney princess toys for this video. I have a lot of Disney merchandise, but this is actually one I've had for a long time. Well, sort of. I got this at Ariel toy at Disney on Ice. I used to have another one just like it, but we had to get rid of it because she got damaged because I accidentally left her in the water for too long, but I got another one just like it, so I think of it as getting something new out of something old.
are too many to count off. If you asked any young kid in the mid-90s and onward what their favorite Disney princess was, you were sure to get a decisive, enthusiastic answer. Zero hesitation. Whether you admire Jasmine's independence or aligned with Mulan's fighting spirit, or saw yourself in Ariel's sense of wonder, we all had a princess we would have loved to emulate.
I used to watch Beauty and the Beast every day. I was even lucky enough to go to Disney World to see all of them.
The franchise has since expanded wonderfully to focus on more diversity and love stories that don't rely on being rescued by a prince. And even now that we're technically grown, we can't wait to see what's next.
I'm a big fan of Disney, so I can't wait either.
Do you agree with our picks?
Okay, that is the end of that video, so I will be ending mine soon. But before I do, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!